Have you ever paused to consider what truly powers our bustling modern world? We see the lights flicker on, our cars glide down roads, and goods arrive from across the globe. It all seems to happen so effortlessly, a seamless dance of human ingenuity. Yet, beneath this surface of everyday convenience lies a hidden force, a substance drawn from deep within the earth that has shaped our civilization in ways few truly comprehend. This remarkable, yet often controversial resource is oil. It is the lifeblood of our industries, the silent partner in our daily routines, and the engine that has propelled human progress for over a century. Its influence is so pervasive, so deeply embedded in the fabric of our lives, that to imagine a world without it is almost beyond our current grasp. The story of oil is a story of immense power, both literal and metaphorical. It is the concentrated energy of ancient sunlight, trapped for millions of years within the remains of tiny marine organisms. When we unlock this energy, we unleash a force that can move mountains, connect continents, and transform landscapes. This power has enabled us to build cities that scrape the sky, to travel at speeds our ancestors could only dream of, and to produce goods in quantities that were once unimaginable. We have become accustomed to the benefits it provides, often taking them for granted, without fully appreciating the complex journey this substance takes, or the intricate web of dependencies it has created for societies around the planet, impacting every facet of human existence. But this incredible power comes with a profound responsibility, and indeed a significant cost. The very resource that has fueled our ascent now presents us with some of our greatest challenges. Its extraction, transportation, and consumption leave an undeniable mark on our fragile planet. The quest for oil has redrawn political maps, fueled conflicts, and created economic empires, often with far-reaching consequences for communities and ecosystems. Understanding this dual nature of oil, its capacity for creation and its potential for destruction, is perhaps one of the most critical tasks facing humanity today, as we stand at a crossroads of energy and environmental consciousness in our shared global home. Therefore, let us embark on a journey to uncover the true extent of oil's dominion. We will explore its hidden pathways into our homes, our bodies, and our societies. We will examine the remarkable processes that bring it to us, and the undeniable impact it has on the natural world. By understanding the profound role oil plays, we can begin to make more informed choices, to think more critically about our consumption, and to collectively envision a future where our energy needs are met in harmony with the delicate balance of our living planet. This exploration is not just about a substance, it's about understanding ourselves and the world we are shaping. When we think of oil, the image that most readily springs to mind is probably that of fuel. We see it powering our cars, our lorries, our airplanes, and the great ships that traverse our oceans. This is, of course, a primary and visible use of this remarkable substance. The combustion engine, a marvel of engineering, relies almost entirely on refined petroleum products like petrol and diesel to transport people and goods across vast distances. Our global economy, with its intricate supply chains and reliance on rapid movement, would grind to a halt without this liquid energy. The sheer scale of this consumption is staggering, a constant flow of energy that underpins our modern mobility and the interconnectedness of our world. However, to limit our understanding of oil to merely a source of fuel is to miss a vast and intricate picture. Look around you right now. The device you're using to read this, the chair you might be sitting on, the pen on your desk, chances are, oil played a crucial role in their creation. Plastics, those ubiquitous materials of modern life, are derived primarily from petrochemicals, which are themselves products of crude oil. From food packaging that keeps our provisions fresh to the durable casings of our electronics, from children's toys to life-saving medical equipment, plastics are an integral, almost invisible component of nearly everything we manufacture and use daily. The influence of oil extends even further into the very fabrics we wear and the products we use on our skin. Many synthetic textiles, such as polyester, nylon, and acrylic, are petroleum-based. These materials offer durability, flexibility, and affordability, making them staples in the fashion industry and in household furnishings. Similarly, many cosmetics, from lipsticks and lotions to shampoos and soaps, contain petroleum derivatives. Even the medicines that heal us, and the vitamins that keep us healthy, can have components synthesized from petrochemicals or rely on plastic packaging for their safe distribution. Perhaps most surprisingly, oil even finds its way into our food systems. Beyond the fuel used for tractors and transportation, petrochemicals are fundamental to the production of many fertilizers and pesticides that enable large-scale agriculture. These products help to increase crop yields and protect against pests, contributing to the global food supply that sustains billions of people. The journey from farm to table is thus lubricated by oil at nearly every step. From the cultivation of crops to their processing, packaging, and distribution, oil's hidden hand ensures that food reaches our plates, demonstrating its pervasive and often unacknowledged role in sustaining our very lives. The journey of oil, from its ancient origins to its final use, is a saga of geological time, immense technological endeavor, and colossal financial investment. It begins deep within the Earth's crust, where, over millions of years, the remains of countless microscopic marine plants and animals were buried under layers of sediment. Subjected to intense heat and pressure, these organic materials slowly transformed into the complex mixture of hydrocarbons we call crude oil and natural gas. These deposits are not vast underground lakes, as some might imagine, but rather are trapped within the tiny pores and fractures of rocks, like water in a sponge, often miles beneath the surface of the land or the seabed. Discovering these hidden reservoirs is an incredibly complex and expensive undertaking. Geologists and geophysicists employ sophisticated techniques, such as seismic surveys, to map subsurface structures and identify potential oil-bearing formations. These surveys involve sending sound waves into the earth and interpreting the echoes that bounce back, a process that can cost millions and still offers no guarantee of success. If promising signs are found, exploratory drilling commences. This is a high-stakes gamble, as drilling a single exploration well can cost tens or even hundreds of millions of pounds, with many such wells turning out to be dry or commercially unviable, a testament to the challenging nature of this quest. Once a commercially viable oil field is discovered, the real investment begins. Production wells must be drilled, often in challenging and remote environments, from scorching deserts to the icy Arctic or deep beneath turbulent seas. Vast infrastructure, including pipelines, processing facilities, and storage tanks, needs to be constructed to extract the crude oil, separate it from water and gas, and prepare it for transport. This entire process, from initial exploration to full-scale production, can take many years, sometimes even decades, and requires investments reaching into the billions, or even tens of billions of pounds for a single large project, a scale of enterprise few industries can match. The crude oil extracted from the ground is not yet ready for use. It is a thick, dark, and complex mixture of various hydrocarbons that must be transported, often over vast distances by supertankers or extensive pipeline networks, to refineries. At the refinery, through processes like fractional distillation, this crude oil is heated and separated into its various components, or fractions. These include petrol, diesel, jet fuel, kerosene, lubricating oils, asphalt, and the vital chemical building blocks for the petrochemical industry. Each step in this long and intricate journey, from the ancient depths to our modern world, demands extraordinary engineering skill and massive capital outlay, all to deliver the products that fuel our lives. While oil has undeniably brought immense benefits and advancements to human civilization, its extraction, transportation, and consumption come at a significant environmental cost. Perhaps the most widely discussed impact is its contribution to climate change. When we burn petroleum products, whether in our cars, power plants, or factories, carbon dioxide, a potent greenhouse gas, is released into the atmosphere. This carbon dioxide traps heat, leading to a gradual warming of the planet. The scientific consensus is overwhelming. The increasing concentration of greenhouse gases from human activities, primarily the burning of fossil fuels like oil, is the main driver of the observed changes in our global climate system, leading to rising sea levels and more extreme weather events. Beyond the invisible threat of carbon dioxide emissions, the oil industry carries the risk of more immediate and visible environmental damage through oil spills. Accidents during drilling, transportation by tankers, or leakages from pipelines can release vast quantities of crude oil into marine and terrestrial ecosystems. These spills can have devastating consequences for wildlife, coating birds and marine mammals, poisoning fish and shellfish, and destroying sensitive habitats like mangroves and salt marshes for decades. The cleanup efforts are often slow, incredibly expensive, and rarely completely successful, leaving long-lasting scars on the affected environments and the communities that depend on them for their livelihoods. The damage is not limited to catastrophic spills. Even routine operations associated with oil extraction and processing can lead to chronic pollution. The discharge of produced water, which is brought to the surface with oil and gas and can contain hydrocarbons and heavy metals, can contaminate water sources if not properly managed. Flaring, the burning of natural gas associated with oil extraction, releases carbon dioxide and other pollutants into the atmosphere. The construction of infrastructure, such as roads, pipelines, and drilling pads, can lead to habitat fragmentation, soil erosion, and disruption of local ecosystems, impacting biodiversity and the delicate balance of nature in often remote and pristine areas. Furthermore, the end products of oil, particularly plastics, present a persistent environmental challenge. While plastics offer many benefits in terms of durability and versatility, their resistance to degradation means that vast quantities accumulate in landfills and, alarmingly, in our oceans. Microplastics, tiny fragments resulting from the breakdown of larger plastic items, are now found in virtually every corner of the planet, from the deepest ocean trenches to the highest mountain peaks, and even within the bodies of animals and humans. The long-term ecological and health impacts of this pervasive plastic pollution are still being studied, but are a growing cause for profound global concern. The immense economic value and strategic importance of oil have made it a central and often, contentious element in global politics for over a century. Nations with abundant oil reserves hold significant economic power, while those heavily reliant on imports can find their foreign policies and economic stability influenced by the need to secure reliable energy supplies. This uneven distribution of black gold has created a complex web of dependencies and rivalries, shaping international relations, trade agreements, and even military strategies. The pursuit of oil has, at times, been a catalyst for cooperation, but more frequently, it has become a source of tension, mistrust, and outright conflict between nations. The term oil curse or resource curse is sometimes used to describe the paradox where countries with abundant natural resources, like oil, often experience slower economic growth, less democracy, and worse development outcomes than countries with fewer resources. The influx of oil wealth can lead to corruption, an over-reliance on a single commodity, and a neglect of other sectors of the economy. It can also exacerbate internal divisions and fuel civil unrest or regional conflicts as different groups vie for control over the lucrative revenues generated by oil exports. The struggle for control over oil resources has been a significant factor in numerous geopolitical hotspots around the world. Indeed, the competition for oil has sometimes escalated beyond diplomatic wrangling into what some might term quiet wars or proxy conflicts. Nations may support different factions within oil-rich regions to secure favorable access or to destabilize regimes perceived as unfriendly to their interests. The strategic importance of key oil-producing regions, such as the Middle East, has led to prolonged foreign military presence, interventions, and intricate alliances, all aimed at ensuring the stable flow of oil to global markets. The very choke points through which oil tankers must pass, like a narrow strait, can become flashpoints for international crises, highlighting the fragility of our global energy supply lines. This dependence on oil creates vulnerabilities for importing nations. Fluctuations in oil prices, often driven by political instability in producing regions or decisions made by cartels of oil-exporting countries, can have a profound impact on national economies, affecting everything from inflation rates to the cost of living for ordinary citizens. The constant need to secure oil supplies can constrain foreign policy choices and lead to, some pretty uncomfortable alliances. The geopolitical landscape is thus deeply intertwined with the flow of oil, a powerful undercurrent shaping decisions in capitals around the world, often far from the public eye, but with direct consequences for international peace and security. One of the most critical truths about oil, yet one we often seem to collectively ignore, is its finite nature. Unlike the sunshine or the wind, which are perpetually renewed, oil is a fossil fuel. It was formed over an immense geological timescale, and the reserves we are currently exploiting represent a one-time inheritance from the Earth's deep past. We are consuming this ancient treasure at a rate that is many millions of times faster than it was ever created. Every barrel of oil we extract and burn is a barrel that is gone forever, a depletion of a resource that took an almost unimaginable span of time to accumulate within the planet's crust. Despite this fundamental reality, our global society often behaves as if the supply of oil is limitless. Our economies are structured around the assumption of its continued availability, and our lifestyles reflect a deep-seated reliance on its myriad products. New oil discoveries are still made, and technological advancements allow us to extract oil from increasingly challenging environments, such as deep offshore locations or through methods like hydraulic fracturing for shale oil. These successes can create an illusion of unending abundance, pushing the uncomfortable truth of ultimate depletion further into the future in our collective consciousness, making it easier to postpone difficult decisions. The concept of peak oil, the hypothetical point in time when the maximum rate of global petroleum extraction is reached, after which the rate of production enters terminal decline, has been debated for decades. While the exact timing of peak oil is a subject of ongoing discussion and depends on various economic and technological factors, the underlying principle remains undeniable. As a finite resource, oil production must eventually peak and then decline. The easily accessible cheap oil is largely gone. What remains is often more difficult, more expensive, and more environmentally damaging to extract, requiring ever more sophisticated and energy-intensive methods. This relentless consumption, driven by a growing global population and increasing industrialization in many parts of the world, places enormous pressure on the remaining reserves. We are, in essence, drawing down on a geological savings account that has no mechanism for deposits. The question is not if oil will run out or become too costly and difficult to extract, but when. Ignoring this inevitability is akin to navigating a ship towards a known hazard without adjusting course. Our current patterns of behavior suggest a profound and potentially perilous disconnect between our actions and the geological reality of this precious, dwindling resource that has powered so much of our recent history. Given oil's finite nature and the ever-increasing global demand, a crucial question looms large. How long can our profound dependence on this single resource truly continue? The age of oil, as some historians have termed the past century and a bit, has been characterized by unprecedented technological advancement and population growth, all largely fueled by this easily transportable, energy-dense liquid. But like all ages defined by a dominant resource, it cannot last forever. The ticking clock of depletion is a constant, often unacknowledged background hum to our modern lives, a sound that grows louder with each passing year and each new report on global energy trends. The consequences of reaching or moving beyond peak oil production without adequate alternatives in place could be severe. Imagine a world where the energy that powers our transport, industries, and agriculture becomes progressively scarcer and more expensive. This could lead to significant economic disruption, impacting global trade, food prices, and the cost of virtually all manufactured goods. Such a scenario could also exacerbate social inequalities, as access to diminishing energy resources becomes more contested, potentially leading to increased instability both within and between nations. The smooth functioning of our intricate global systems, so reliant on affordable oil, would face an unprecedented challenge. Furthermore, even if we were to discover vast new reserves of conventional oil tomorrow, the environmental imperatives associated with its continued large-scale combustion would remain. The scientific evidence linking fossil fuel use to climate change is robust and deeply concerning. Continuing down a path of high oil consumption means committing the planet to further warming, with all the attendant risks of extreme weather, sea level rise, and ecosystem collapse. Thus, the question is not just about the physical availability of oil, but also about the planet's capacity to absorb the environmental consequences of its continued use on the current scale. Can our atmosphere, our oceans, and our delicate ecosystems sustain this pressure indefinitely? The answer, increasingly, appears to be no. This presents humanity with a challenge of monumental proportions. We have built a complex, interconnected global civilization, heavily reliant on a resource that is both running out and harming the planet through its use. To simply continue with business as usual is not a sustainable long-term strategy. It requires a fundamental rethink of how we generate and consume energy, how we design our cities, how we produce our food, and how we manufacture our goods. The era defined by an abundance of cheap oil is drawing to a close, whether through geological depletion or by a conscious decision to mitigate environmental harm. The pressing question is, what will define the next era, and how smooth, or indeed disruptive, will the transition be for societies around the world? While the challenges posed by our oil dependence are undeniably immense, they are not insurmountable. Humanity possesses an extraordinary capacity for innovation, adaptation, and collective action when faced with significant trials. The dawning realization of oil's limitations and environmental impact is, in itself, a catalyst for change, prompting a global search for cleaner, more sustainable ways to power our future. The horizon, though perhaps distant, is illuminated by the promise of renewable energy sources, groundbreaking new technologies, and critically, a necessary evolution in our collective mindset. The most prominent pathway towards a post-oil future lies in harnessing the Earth's abundant renewable energy resources. The sun, for instance, bathes our planet in more energy every hour than humanity consumes in an entire year. Solar power technology, converting sunlight directly into electricity, is rapidly becoming more efficient and affordable. Similarly, wind power, captured by towering turbines on land and increasingly at sea, offers another vast source of clean electricity. Geothermal energy from the Earth's core, tidal and wave power from our oceans, and sustainably sourced biomass all represent pieces of a complex puzzle that can, together, significantly reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Beyond simply switching our energy sources, new technologies are emerging that promise to transform how we use energy and the materials we depend upon. Advances in battery storage are crucial for making intermittent renewable sources like solar and wind more reliable. The development of electric vehicles is already revolutionizing personal transportation, offering a way to move away from the internal combustion engine. Furthermore, research into green hydrogen, produced using renewable electricity, holds potential as a clean fuel for heavy industry and long-haul transport. In the realm of materials, scientists are exploring bio-based plastics and innovative recycling methods to reduce our dependence on petrochemicals for the products we use every day. However, technology alone will not be enough. A fundamental shift in mindset is also required. A move away from a culture of disposability and relentless consumption towards one of stewardship, efficiency, and circularity. This involves valuing resources more highly, designing products for longevity and recyclability, and embracing lifestyles that are less energy-intensive. It means fostering a greater awareness of our environmental footprint and making conscious choices to reduce it. This change in perspective, from individuals to corporations to governments, is perhaps the most crucial component of a sustainable transition, as it underpins the societal will needed to implement and embrace new technologies and policies on a meaningful scale. The journey through the world of oil, from its ancient origins to its pervasive presence in our lives and its profound impact on our planet, reveals a complex and often contradictory story. It is a story of incredible human ingenuity and progress, but also one of unforeseen consequences and mounting challenges. Understanding the true cost of our reliance on oil, a cost that includes not just the price at the pump, but also the environmental degradation, the geopolitical tensions, and the depletion of a finite resource, is the essential first step towards navigating a more sustainable path forward. This awareness must permeate all levels of society, from individual consumers to global policymakers. Reflecting on our personal and collective consumption of oil can be an illuminating and perhaps unsettling experience. How many of the items in our homes are derived from petroleum? How much of our daily travel relies on it? How do our food choices connect back to this hidden ingredient? Asking these questions encourages a deeper appreciation for the resources we use and the intricate systems that deliver them. It moves oil from an abstract concept to a tangible part of our daily footprint. This personal reflection is not about inducing guilt, but about fostering a sense of connection and responsibility, empowering us to see where changes, however small, might be possible in our own lives and communities. The challenge of transitioning away from an oil-dominated world is a shared one, requiring concerted effort from individuals, communities, industries, and governments. It calls for innovation in science and technology, bold policy decisions that incentivize sustainable practices, and investment in education to foster widespread environmental literacy. It necessitates a global dialogue, transcending borders, to address issues that are inherently global in nature, such as climate change and resource management. Each informed choice, each sustainable innovation, each policy promoting cleaner alternatives, contributes to a larger movement towards a more resilient and equitable future for all inhabitants of this remarkable planet. Ultimately, the future of our relationship with energy rests in our hands. By acknowledging the profound impact of oil, by embracing the potential of renewable alternatives, and by committing to more mindful consumption, we can begin to write a new chapter in human history. One where our progress is no longer so tightly bound to a finite and environmentally costly resource. The path ahead will require courage, creativity, and collaboration. But by awakening to the true cost of oil and embracing our shared responsibility, we can make smarter choices, fostering a world that is not only powered differently, but also lives more harmoniously with the natural systems that sustain us all. The time for awareness is now, the time for action imperative.